Greetings, friends. As always, it's a high honor to welcome you back to Rick's Garage. The vehicle in front of you is a 2007 Honda Accord. It comes in with a broken CV axle. My intention originally was to go ahead and film this job and post it on my channel. Before I begin any YouTube video project, I like to check out the subject matter. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I don't duplicate videos that are well done online. If it's not been covered, or I think I can do a better job, or I've got a better way of doing the job, I will go ahead and throw my hat in the ring, so to speak. However, the videos that I did review were indeed very good, and I saw no need for me to go forward with filming this job. The reason I'm before you now, as you can see, I'm already partway into this repair. Unfortunately, this is a Rust Belt vehicle, and I've run into an issue that was not covered on any of the videos I saw. These Hondas have what's known in the industry as a wishbone suspension. To help me explain this, I've downloaded a few images from the internet. This part before you is called a strut fork. It sort of looks like a wishbone, that's where they get the name. The arrow points to where it clamps to the bottom of the strut. It clamps to the bottom of the strut as you see here. Then the two forks attach to the lower control arm. It is bolted through this bushing you see here. The reason you must disconnect this fork from the lower control arm is because the axle fits through this opening that you see here. It's almost impossible to fit the axle through unless you unbolt it. So this brings us to the issue that I encountered that was not covered on any of the other videos. The bolt that passes through this bushing and connects the fork to the lower control arm was totally frozen. I had absolutely no alternative but to cut it. So that's going to be the subject of today's video, is we're going to press out this bushing and replace it. So friends, as you can see, I've already cut the bolt off. I had to cut it on both ends. I'll show you what I used and exactly how I did it. Friends, I apologize. This is quite a bit after the fact. As you know, I didn't plan on producing this video. And then once I got into it and had this issue, I thought others might benefit from it. But this is the Sawzall that I used to cut off that bolt. I cut it off on both ends. What I wanted to show you is this is the replacement bushing, and you can see that the bushing protrudes. I hope you can see that it protrudes. So when I cut this, as not to damage the control arm or the yoke, I actually cut this on the bushing itself, the part that was sticking out. It's quite soft, and I cut through that very easily, then cut all the way through the bolt. Because this is video, it's almost like a little time machine. We can advance into the future. I've actually already pressed out the old bushing, and you can see how I just kind of shaved that off without touching the yoke or the control arm. Don't worry, being that it is video, we'll go back in time and I'll actually show the pressing out of that bushing. This is my bushing press kit. It's quite impressive. It's got 4 different size jack screws. It's all ball bearinged. It's got a number of different size cylinders for pressing in and out bushings. This kit is designed to press the bushings in or out right on the car. However, in this instance, I'm not going to be able to use the kit to press the bushing out. I can use it for pressing the bushing in. The reason for that, let me get one of these out here, is the kit utilizes the hole in the center of the bushing. The problem is, as you can see, the bolt is still frozen in the old bushing. So this means I'm going to have to remove the control arm and press it out on my 20-ton shop press. Now, it's not a major deal removing this control arm. As part of this job, you had to disconnect almost everything anyway. The only 2 additional things you have to remove to get this control arm out are the 2 bolts that are connecting it to the subframe. So I'm going to go ahead and get those out off camera, and I'll come back when we're ready to press this bushing out. So I've found a cylinder out of one of my ball joint kits that's just the right size for that bushing to drop into when I try to press it out. And I found one of my sockets that's just the right size to push that bushing down into that cylinder. Now this should come right out now. And it looks like it is. It's moving nicely. It should drop right into that little cup down there. There it is. Alright, looks like it went through. Yep. And the bushing is out. This is the kit I ordered. It comes with the replacement bushing, the special nut and bolt that's required. This kit costs just about $15. I got it from Amazon and it was delivered in 2 days. This is the part number. It's a Moog kit number K9761. So we're now ready to press it into the control arm. Hopefully this will go in as easy as the old one came out. I've got the control arm clamped in my vise, and I'm going to take a fairly soft wire brush and I'm going to try to clean the inside of it. I don't want to resize it, I just want to remove any debris. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to take a little bit of grease and lightly coat the inside of this bore. I'm going to use a silicone based grease. Just going to put a little bit, coat it around inside here. That's good. Now I've selected the length of jack screw I want to use. I've selected a cylinder that I'd like to use. And I've got a pair of covers. Now I've placed a pair of vice grips on the bottom nut. That's because I don't want it falling off while I'm trying to work. And I'm taking a cover, putting it on the bottom, and that's going to come up through the hole, and that's where that's going to be stationed. Now this is the bushing we're going to be pressing in. You can see it looks kind of frosty. It's been in the freezer overnight. I really don't know if that does any good, but it's something they say to do. And the reason I selected this cylinder, it's got a little recessed area, if you can see it, and the bushing fits nicely into it, so that way I won't have to worry about controlling the cylinder over the bushing. I'll just have to worry about controlling the bushing into the bore. So this is how that's going to go. And I'm going to push it up through the bottom. We'll put a cover on it and put a nut on there. Okay. And now I'm going to try to line up as best I can the bushing with the bore. Looks pretty good. And I got to get a wrench to fit that. Okay, and I've got a 21mm socket that we're going to use to crank this down with. And let's see what happens here. It's a little tight. Not sure I'm going in evenly. Let me give it a few taps. Yeah, it looks a little more lined up now. Yep, that's going in very nice now. I didn't quite have it lined up perfectly, but it's sliding right in there very easily. getting a little tighter now. We get a little bigger ratchet. It's not that it was going in difficultly, it's just that if you're familiar with my channel, you know I'm in my 70s now, and I'm not as strong as I used to be. So a little bit more leverage would be helpful to me. I could use a power tool, but I don't recommend using power tools on these jack screws. I get many comments from people that use various kits using a power tool on a jack screw, and they wind up stripping them. Now I didn't mention, but I put a little lubrication on this jack screw as well. This is sliding in quite nicely. So I'm gonna pull this out. So friends, this control arm is ready to be installed back in the car. This is the bolt that came with the bushing and the nut. So as far as this video, friends, I'm going to call this done. To complete this job, you can refer to those other videos I mentioned at the beginning of this video. There are a number of excellent videos that explain this job in detail on replacing a broken axle. I only stepped in because we had the bushing that was stuck, and I wanted to show you how to get out of that situation. There's one thing I want to mention, friends. I probably should have said something before. But if you do not happen to have the tools or the means to press in a new bushing, then by all means just simply replace the entire control arm. They're not that expensive. You can buy one on Amazon or eBay for about $100. So that's all I've got, friends. I want to thank you once again for watching Rick's Garage. Before I go, I am going to post 2 videos to your left, of which I hope you find of interest. And to your right, as always, will be my avatar in the form of my very trusty German Shepherd. By all means, feel free to click on that should you wish to subscribe to my channel. So thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you all very soon.